Hi everyone, welcome back to a new weekend episode from DGMZ. For all our returning viewers, we are so glad you could join us again. And for the new viewers who are tuning into the podcast for the first time, welcome to DGMZ. We are very glad that you decided to explore the podcast. Now, as always, for the new viewers, I would highly recommend accessing the introduction episode because that episode will give you a good insight into the motivation, the inspiration behind the podcast. Also, for your reference, currently we have two playlists running. One of the playlists consists of these weekend episodes where we go through ghazals from Diwan-e-Ghalib one by one. And the second playlist consists of all other topics. They are still focused around Urdu poetry, around Mirza Ghalib, but we explore more there, other and beyond the ghazals. Now, if you have tuned in the past few episodes, you would know that currently we are in the 15th ghazal from Diwan-e-Ghalib. Now, this ghazal was fairly long, so we split it into multiple episodes. We've already recorded 2 episodes, and today is the 3rd episode. Now, if you want to stop here, go back to the other 2 episodes and catch up, feel free to do that. But for the viewers who have already accessed those episodes, we are going to pick up the ghazal from the Sher. And this was the, let me just count them quickly. So we did 4 Sher already. Today we are going to get into the 5th Sher. And we have 4 more to go. So let's see how far we get today. We will try to complete it, but we don't want to rush anything. If we need another episode, we will take one more episode. So, as always, I will read the ghazal, but not the entire ghazal. If you want the narration of the entire ghazal, I would request you to access part 1 of ghazal 15. There I have narrated the entire ghazal. Today I'm going to narrate only the 4 couplets that are left for us to get into. So this is how it goes. यहाँ सर-ए-पुर-शोर बे-ख्वाबी से था दीवार-जू. यहाँ सर-ए-पुर-शोर बे-ख्वाबी से था दीवार-जू. वां वो फर्क-ए-नाज महव-ए-बालिश-ए-कम-ख्वाब था. यहाँ नफस करता था रोशन शमा-ए-बाज़म-ए-बे-खुदी. यहाँ नफस करता था रोशन शमा-ए-बाज़म-ए-बे-खुदी. जलवा-ए-गुल वां बिसात-ए-सोहबत-ए-अहबाब था. फर्श से था अर्श वां तूफान था मौजे रंग का. फर्श से था अर्श वां तूफान था मौजे रंग का. यहाँ ज़मी से आसमां तक सोख्तन का बाब था. मक्ता अर्ज़ किया है. नागहां इस रंग से खून-ए-नाब टपकाने लगा. नागहां इस रंग से खून-ए-नाब टपकाने लगा. दिल की ज़ौक़ कविश नाखून से लज्जत याब था. So if you remember from the previous episodes, this ghazal is, it has a very unique pattern to it. It has a very unique formula to it, right? Where Ghalib is picking these scenarios or visuals which are occurring in parallel at his end and at his beloved's end. The uniqueness of the visuals he is picking is that on the surface, if you look at them fleetingly, they might seem similar. They look alike. They have the same initial visual impression. But when you drill down, when you go deeper, you realize how different they are. So something which on surface seems similar is happening at both ends, but beneath the surface, they're not only different, they are worlds apart. And that is where the couplet hits you. The difference, the gap in the reality and the lack of gap in the visual similarity is where the entire intoxication of the couplet is. So of course, these four couplets follow in the same vein, right? So let's get into the fifth one. यहाँ Sar-e-Pur-Shor, Be-Khwaabi se tha Diwar-Juu. यहाँ, here, Sar-e-Pur-Shor, Sar, head, Pur-Shor, filled with noise, a head filled with noise, and by extension, filled with anxiety, filled with restlessness, filled with demons, filled with dark thoughts, things that are upsetting, things that are painful. Be-Khwaabi se, be, without, Khwaabi, dreams, dreamless, by extension, sleepless. So this, at this end, this head of mine is filled with noise and anxiety and pain, and it is totally devoid of dreams. And Diwar-Juu, Diwar is wall, Juu is seeking, wanting. So this head is looking for a wall. By extension, this head is in so much pain and agitation that it is looking for a wall to go and bang itself on that wall. As you know, that in extreme states of frustration and headache and pain and anxiety and torment, that is one of the, how should I put it, a very reflex action one does, banging their head against the wall, right? So that's what Ghalib is saying, that at my end, this head of mine is filled with so much chaos, so much agitation, so much pain, and it is totally devoid of dreams, by extension, totally devoid of sleep. So this head has not rested at all. And all it is looking right now is for a wall. I would say a new wall to go and bang itself against it. Just in an attempt to either by the sheer force of banging against the wall get rid of this noise or get some kind of relief in the pain caused by the banging against the wall, whatever the rationale might be behind it. And then in the second line, Vaan, there, wo Farq-e-Naaz. So Farq-e-Naaz. Farq is again head. We use the word for pride and vanity also, but it is all about holding your head high. It takes that thing takes its roots from the word farq, which means head, or the upper part of anything, the top of anything, right? Farq-e-Naaz. So Naaz is, of course, elegance, gracefulness, again by extension, pride. Farq-e-Naaz Mahw-e-Baalish-e-Kam-Khwaab tha. So this is a bigger complex, so we'll have to take it bit by bit. Mahw is basically obliterated, erased, again kind of devoid of, right? And then Balish is pillow, and Kam-Khwaab, Kam is less, Khwaab is dream. So Ghalib is saying at that end, that head of that graceful one, right? That head of that prideful one is totally devoid of any dreams and nestled in the pillow. So there is a dreamless state at both ends. So that is that visual similarity. On the surface, both Ghalib and his beloved are having a dreamless night. None of them is dreaming. But at Ghalib's end, it is because his head is full of chaos and confusion and distress and grief. And he is going from wall to wall, banging this head, which is just probably tearing at him because of the noise inside it, and banging his head on the walls, and hence not dreaming. And there the beloved is not dreaming because her head is so comfortably nestled in a pillow, and the sleep is so sound that it is totally dreamless. It's a deep, deep slumber with no dreams at all. So, at Ghalib's end, the lack of dreams is because of pain, distress, anxiety, grief, and at her end, the dreamless state is because of comfort. Just total zen. She has no care in the world. And basically, Be-Khwaabi jo hai na, lack of dream. In Urdu shairi, many times by the shairs, is used to symbolize a sleepless night. Because it is kind of taken for granted that if you're sleeping, you will dream. Unless you are the beloved, right? Where you have no care in the world and the sleep is so sound that there are no dreams. But otherwise, usually, to dream, you need to sleep. And in Urdu poetry, the general assumption is that if you are not dreaming, by extension, you are not sleeping. So Be-Khwaabi एक बहुत प्यारा जज्बा है जो कि उर्दू पोइट्री में कई बार यूज़ किया जाता है to symbolize this. I found some very nice share which will give us the flavor of this jazba a little more, other than what we are reading in the current ghazal. So this one is by Katil Shifai. क्या खबर कब नींद आए दीदाए बेख्वाब में. क्या खबर कब नींद आए दीदाए बेख्वाब में. शाम से हम जल रहे हैं साए मेहताब में. So the approximate translation is that I do not know when sleep will make its way into these dreamless, by extension, sleepless eyes. All I know is that since evening, I have been burning under the shadow of the moon. So basically, most of the evening has passed. And I'm sitting here with all my pain and grief burning under the shadow of the moon. And shadow of the moon is also to emphasize the fact that usually moonlight is supposed to be soothing, calming, cooling. But for a person with a burning heart full of grief and pain, they continue to burn even under the cooling, soothing light of the moon. एक और शेर है अंबरीन हसीब अंबर का. शब थी बेख्वाब एक आरजू देर तक, शब थी बेख्वाब एक आरजू देर तक, शहर दिल में फिरी कू बकू देर तक. So again, approximate translation is that last night there was a desire, there was a wish that was making rounds, that was making rounds in my dreamless eyes, by extension, in my sleepless eyes. So all night there was this wish that was running in my thoughts, running in my eyes, which had seen no sleep and by extension no dreams. And in this city of my heart, this wish kept going from one door to the other door, one corner to the other corner, looking for fulfillment. I didn't find it. And then the last one by Baqi Ahmed Puri, बेख्वाब सुर्ख आँखों ने सब कुछ बता दिया, बेख्वाब सुर्ख आँखों ने सब कुछ बता दिया, कल रात दिल में दर्द का तूफान था बहुत. So this is a simple share but yet beautiful, right? So बेख्वाब सुर्ख आँखों ने बता दिया. So the dreamless, sleepless red eyes told everything, told it all. That last night in the city of the heart again, right, there was a huge storm. So as you can see, बहुत प्यारी तरह इस बेख्वाबी को यूज़ करते हैं उर्दू पोइट्री में to symbolize these long nights of pain and separation and grief, where the lover gets no sleep and hence gets no dreams. That's why Be-Khwaabi, without dreams. Okay, let's move on to the next share. या नफस करता था रोशन, Shama-e-Bazm-e-be-Khudii. Here, nafas, breath. Sign of life, breath. Karta tha roshan, illuminate. Shama-e-Bazm-e-be-Khudii. Shama, candle, bazm, of a gathering. Be-Khudii, this state of not having control over your faculties. Now this can be intoxication, this can be you can lose sense of your faculties both because things became too good for you to handle or became too bad for you to handle. But at the crux, you have lost control, you have lost control of your faculties, you've lost the clarity, right, and the discipline and the control, right? So that is Be-Khudii. So Ghalib is saying that at my end, nafas, my breath, right, my gasp or my respiration, very technically put, right? So my breath was fueling the lamp of an assembly or a party or a gathering of Be-Khudii, a gathering of people who have kind of lost control, who were out of control, lost their control, lost their clarity, lost their balance. So basically, he's talking about the Mehkhana. He's talking about the tavern where he goes to drink. So he's saying that at my end, my breath was becoming the fuel for candles of a gathering of people who were intoxicated, who had lost control. And lost control symbolically, lost control of their kismat, their wishes, their dreams, and technically lost control because they were drunk. But you have to take it both ways. So Ghalib is saying, my evening is getting spent using my breathing to fuel candles of an assembly of people who are losing control by drinking, getting intoxicated. And Jalwa-e-Gul Vaan. And there, Jalwa-e-Gul, Jalwa is basically display, a grand display, and Gul is gulab, flower. So Jalwa-e-Gul Vaan, there the display of flowers, Bisaat-e-Sohbat-e-Ahbaab tha. Bisaat is something spread out, expanse, right? Something that forms a surface. And then Sohbat is company. Now, Sohbat, I think it has levels. So it can be used for something as casual as company, acquaintances, but then it is also used to talk about more intense interactions like that between friends or lovers, right? So it can be very intimate. So sohbat is just an interaction, and depending on who you are interacting with, it can be casual, but it can also be very intense and intimate. And ahbab is again, ahbab can be casual acquaintances, friends, but then it can be very intense and also include lovers or partners you are intimate with. So, Ghalib is saying that here I, with my grief, I'm sitting in a mehkhana, drinking, and there is this display of roses. There is this grand display of roses on the surface or on the floor, right? Where there is sohbat-e-ahbaab. There is an intimacy with a lover happening. So at his beloved's end, she is on probably a bed decorated with roses and with her lover. And here Ghalib is in the mehkhana. So yes, that's how this comes across. Now, नफस बहुत प्यारा वर्ड यूज़ किया है इस कपलेट में इन द फर्स्ट लाइन. अब नफस पे एक दो तीन शेर, लेट्स गो थ्रू देम just to get some more flavor around this word. So this one is from Firaq Gorakhpuri. हयात इश्क का एक एक नफस जाम शहादत है, वो जाने नाज बरदारा कोई आसान लेते हैं. So basically in this share, approximate translation is that the life of a lover, or in fact the life of love, right, by extension the life of a lover, ka ek ek nafas, each and every breath of the life of a lover is that of martyrdom. It's almost like sacrificing yourself, right? And wo jaane naaz bardara koi aasan lete hain, that basically it is not easy. It is not easy to love. So wo jaane naaz bardara, so jaane naaz, the life of the, again, prideful one or the graceful one. नाज के बहुत मीनिंग्स होते हैं. So basically the beloved, right, does not take anybody on board who is keen on easy tasks, right? She does not take anybody on board who is keen on easy tasks. This task of love is only meant for someone who is ready to be a martyr with every breath they take. Those are the type of people who can love. And then this one by Fani Badayui, हर नफस उम्र गुज़िश्ता की है मैयत फ़ानी, ज़िंदगी नाम है मर के जिए जाने का. So by approximate translation, every breath is a corpse of the past life. And hence, life is but dying every moment. Now, yes, this is a very dark kind of a sher, but meant for someone who does not see any hope, right? Someone with unrequited love, dreams, hopes, wishes, right? There's no hope inside, there's no happiness in sight, and it just seems that this current life is just lugging the corpses of the past life, and hence living this life is almost like dying. Okay, let's move on to the next sher. Farsh se ta arsh, farsh floor, arsh roof, ta till. So from the floor to the roof. Farsh se ta arsh, Vaan तूफान था मौजे रंग का. Vaan there. Mauj rang, mauj is gaiety, celebration, happiness, party time. Rang is color. So Ghalib is saying at that end, from the floor till the roof, it seemed as if there was just this splash of color, of joy and happiness and celebration and all the good stuff, right? Ya, here, Zami se asma, from the earth to the heavens. Soktan ka baap tha. Soktan is burning of something, destruction by burning, smoldering. Baab is a door. So of course he is contrasting, but इस कपलेट में कंट्रास्ट दो लेवल पे है. एक तो वहाँ पे फ्लोर टू सीलिंग, विच इज़ दैट ऑफ बेसिकली अ हाउस, राइट, फ्रॉम फ्लोर टू सीलिंग, बट एट गालिब्स एंड ज़मी से आसमां, फ्रॉम अर्थ टू द हेवेंस. So the expanse, he is so beautifully saying that उनकी जो खुशी थी वो तो उनके घर के ज़मी से छत तक थी, पर मेरा जो गम था वो ज़मी से आसमां तक था. So Ghalib is saying, so basically he is saying that there in her house, in her little world, from her floor to her roof, there was this celebration happening. And at my end, घर तो छोड़ दीजिए, घर तो मेरा कब का जल के ख़त्म हो गया. अब तो मेरी तरफ तो ये हाल था कि ज़मीन से लेके आसमां तक ऐसा लगता था एक दरवाज़ा खुला है. इट सीम्ड एट माई एंड दैट फ्रॉम अर्थ टू द हेवेंस देयर वॉज दिस बिग डोर ओपन्ड ऑफ फायर एंड बर्निंग. सो बेसिकली देयर इज़ नो एस्केप, राइट? देयर इज़ नो एस्केप फॉर हिम. द डोर्स ऑफ हेल pretty much have opened up. There is only fire. You can only burn. That is all he can do. That is all he can do. And इसमें भी जो सोक्ता वर्ड यूज़ किया गया है, सोक्तन का बाप था, right? Again, it's a beautiful word. And at DGMZ, yes, we get into the Ghazal, we get into the impressions of the Ghazal, but we also get into these by-lanes, if you may, right? Where if there's a beautiful word, we want to enjoy the multitude of flavors that word has. We want to see how other shayars use it, and that is why these additional shares, because इससे उस लफ्ज़ का जो मज़ा है, जो फ्लेवर है, वो थोड़ा और पता चलता है, other than what is captured in Ghalib's ghazal. So सोख्ता के लिए ये तशुक लखनवी का शेर है. दिल सोख्ता थे चाहने वालों में तुम्हारे, लेकिन सबब गर्मी बाजार हम ही थे. Okay, so the approximate translation is that yes, in your admirers there were many who had their hearts burned by you, right? So I agree, there were many who were in love with you and had their hearts burnt by the desire for you. But लेकिन but sabab garmi bazaar. So by bazaar it just means a public place, right? And sabab is reason, garmi is heat, right? So he's saying, but publicly that heat, right? The reason of that heat, or the reason of that heated gossip and rumor was me. So basically, I was the one who actually led to the publicity, right, surrounding you, because I was the one who went public with my love for you. So many of them might have burnt their hearts in privacy, but I was the one who was the reason for this public knowledge about a heart being burnt by you, because I went public with it. I was vocal about it. Then ये फिराक गोरखपुरी का शेर है. जिस जगह बैठ गए आग लगाकर उठे, जिस जगह बैठ गए आग लगाकर उठे, गर्मियां हैं कुछ अभी सोखता समानों में. So by approximate translation is, wherever I decided to sit, and by extension wherever I decided to focus or take a pause, I ensured there was a fire started there, right? गर्मियां हैं कुछ अभी सोखता समानों में. So basically, whoever I set my heart on, I left a warmth from the fire I started there, right? I left a warmth from the fire I started there. And this again is a very, I will not use the word common, but I will use the word often explored concept in Urdu poetry, that the lover, though they themselves are burning in the fire of pain and misery and unrequited love and separation, they take pride in it, and that they use that heat to warm things, burn things, depending on the scenario, right? So a lover who carries this fire in their heart will not sit in a corner and just burn away into an anonymity, right? They will use that heat and fire in different ways. So this is one of those ways. And then another share by Mir Taqi Mir. अपने कूचे में फुगां जिसकी सुनो हो हर रात, अपने कूचे में फुगां जिसकी सुनो हो हर रात, वो जिगर सोखता और सीना जला मैं ही हूँ. So beautiful share by Mir Taqi Mir. Approximate translation is that, beloved, this wailing and crying and lamentation that you hear every night in your kucha is in your dwelling place, right? So this crying and this pain-filled sighing that you hear in your vicinity, in your dwelling every night, It is this burning heart. It is this burnt heart of mine that is crying out. And then I think this one, दो शेर बहुत अच्छे मिले थे क्योंकि आपने देखा इस कपलेट में फर्श से ता अर्श, राइट, फ्रॉम द फ्लोर टू द सीलिंग और फ्रॉम अर्थ टू हेवन. दिस इज़ अ ब्यूटिफुल, अगेन अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट, अ ब्यूटिफुल कॉन्सेप्ट. इस पे दो शेर हैं. पहला वाला है फैज़ अहमद फैज़ का. फर्श पर आज दरे सिद्दी को सफ़ा बंद हुआ, फर्श पर आज दरे सिद्दी को सफ़ा बंद हुआ, अर्श पर आज हर एक बाबे दुआ बंद हुआ. So by approximate translation, फर्श, earth. On earth today, every door of honesty and purity got closed. Every door of honesty and purity got closed on earth today. And in the heavens, every door for prayers got closed today. So basically it is talking about a scenario where finally the hopelessness is complete. There is no respite available on earth. There is no respite available in the heavens. You have reached the end of hoping. The hopelessness is permanent now because there is no respite. And last one, I know I'm taking time, but these are beautiful couplets and I hope you enjoy listening to them as much as I do. Last one is again from Mir Taki Mir. इश्क से जा नहीं कोई खाली, इश्क से जा नहीं कोई खाली, दिल से ले अर्श तक भरा है इश्क. And it's just a beautiful thought, right? Approximate translation is that there is no life that is empty of love or devoid of love. There's nothing with life that is devoid of love. From your heart till the heavens, the whole space is filled with love. And I think that's a beautiful thought. Okay, Makta, the last couplet. Let's get into it. नागहां इस रंग से खूनाबा टपकाने लगा, दिल की ज़ौक़े कविश नाखून से लज्जत याब था. Let's do approximate translation. First line, नागहां. नागहां is suddenly, unexpectedly, accidentally. इस रंग से खूनाबा, रंग कलर, खूनाबा tears of blood, टपकाने लगा, started shedding. So suddenly I started shedding tears of blood. And because rang hai, so rich colored tears of blood. Suddenly I started shedding rich colored tears of blood. Dil, the heart, ज़ौक़े कविश नाखून. Word complex hai, we'll have to split it. Zauq is having a flavor for something, having a taste for something, having an yearning for something. Kavish, effort. And by extension, it can also mean movement, motion, task. Nakhun, nails. ज़ौक़े कविश नाखून, the taste or the hunger or the desire for the thing done by the nails or the activity done by the nails. And what do the nails do? They claw, right? They claw at things, they dig at things, they pry at things, they Yeah, the other word that was coming to mind does not fit, so I'm not gonna say it. And then lazzat-e-yaab. So lazzat-e-yaab is basically, lazzat is flavor, and yaab is trying to find it, searching for something, trying to discover something, getting something. So basically, what Ghalib is saying is that in the first line, suddenly, suddenly, I started shedding rich colored tears of blood from my eyes. So आंखों से तो खून टपकने लगा आंसुओं की तरह. And then in the second line he says, and in the heart, there grew this taste and yearning to feel what the nails do, which is claw. Right? So the heart started wanting and yearning to enjoy the flavor it gets, or enjoy the taste of having my nails claw at it, gnaw at it, dig at it. And and we have covered this in some previous ghazals also, कि जब कोई जख्म होता है, you have a wound, right? It is fresh. You don't touch it, it's very painful. Now when it starts healing, it starts getting this scab. And that is when it starts itching a little, right? And I'm sure most of you must have heard your mom and your dad tell you, do not touch it, do not pick at it. And the reason is because if you start picking at it, inevitably there is this pain pleasure complex, psychosomatic complex that gets triggered. And the more you pick at it, the more pleasure you get, and hence you don't stop, and inevitably you land up removing the scab, and now the wound is fresh again, right? Now it will have to heal again. So Ghalib is saying that my heart started yearning for that flavor of my nails digging into the wounds of my heart, and just fresh, making those wounds fresh again, making those wounds bleed again. And of course my eyes also suddenly started crying tears of blood. So basically, by extension, the scenario is that the pain has hit another totally new level. The pain has hit a totally new level. Now, tears of blood, right? Khuun-e-Naab. When I was researching, yes, there is a medical condition called hematidrosis, which means you can get blood in your tears. But that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about the symbolical concept of tears of blood. And it is used in the spiritual sense many times to characterize a profound emotional outpouring. And bloody tears, they are used to represent a strong emotional state, agony, and suffering. They are sometimes also seen as a sign of imminent disaster, a catastrophe, and all this because they are connected to tremendous stress, suffering, and sorrow. They can also be viewed as a sign of cleansing, spiritual cleansing. So depending on the context, tears of blood can herald something very bad and ominous, but on the other hand also symbolize something very spiritual and cleansing and purifying. So they can be both good and bad. And Yeah, we have references in some religious texts. We also have references about it in historical records. But all in all, usually they are used to symbolize a state of extreme grief and extreme pain. One thing more in this couplet, Kavishe Nakhun. This is also a very interesting concept that we find in Urdu poetry, right? That digging with the nails in a wound, and usually the wound will be in the lover's heart. So, digging and making it fresh again, digging and deepening it, digging and festering it with your nails is a symbol of extreme grief, extreme pain, so much pain that now the only relief from pain is more pain. The only relief for the wound is to get deeper. सो इस पे ये दो शेर अच्छे थे. सज्जाद बकर रिजवी का, अब भी इतना तरो ताज़ा है जैसे अव्वल दिन का हो, वाहरे अपनी कविश नाखून, ज़ख्म की लज्जत कम ना हुई. So basically he's saying that even today, it is as fresh as it was on day one. This wound has not lost its taste for the nails, and by extension gnawing of the nails or festering done by the nails. And ये दूसरा शेर है मजरू सुल्तानपुरी का, अब जाके कुछ खुला हुनूर ए नाखूने जुनून. अब जाके कुछ खुला हुनूर ए नाखूने जुनून, ज़ख्म जिगर हुए लबो रुखसार की तरह. Beautiful शेर है. So approximate translation is that now, after a long time, the ability, right, the mastery of the nails and their intoxicated state, right, or worked up state. So after a long time, I am seeing in open the nails in an intoxicated, overworked, hyped state. Because today, the wound of my heart has the color of her lips. So basically red. The wound has become fresh again because the nails have gone and clawed on it in sheer grief and pain and helplessness. Okay, so that brings us to the end of Ghazal 50. This was a long ghazal, but बहुत ही अलग गज़ल थी, बिकॉज़ वो जो टेम्पलेट गालिब ने इसमें यूज़ किया था, उन चीज़ों का वो एग्जाम्पल्स जो यूज़ किए थे उस टेम्पलेट के लिए कि भाई ऊपर से तो सब सेम लगता है यहाँ भी और वहाँ भी, बट नीचे देखो तो बात बिल्कुल फ़र्क है. मेरी तरफ ये हो रहा है और उसकी तरफ वो हो रहा है. वो टेम्पलेट बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग था. I do hope you enjoyed today's impression and the other episodes we recorded for this ghazal. अगर आपने वाकई में enjoy किया है तो please click like, and if you know somebody who would enjoy listening to this impression, I would request you to share it. Feel free to comment on it. It is always very inspiring and encouraging to read comments, see the content being liked. And next time we will start Ghazal 16. इस गज़ल में 4, 5, 6, 7 शेर हैं. Okay, this is also a fairly long ghazal. We will take our time about it. Till the next episode, everyone, lots of love and light to you. Thanks for watching.